So Peter and the other disciple went out and came to the tomb. They both ran. When Simon Peter arrived after him, he went into the tomb and saw the burial clothes there, and the cloth that had covered his head, not with the burial cloths, but rolled up in a separate place. Then the other disciple also went in, and he saw and believed. What strikes me in this gospel passage is that these women and disciples believed even though they had not seen the Lord. When I reflect on this reading, I think about the utter confusion, despair maybe of the followers of Jesus at this time. I mean, what must have been going through their minds and in their hearts in those difficult hours until they could meet him, the risen one. Their Lord had died an excruciatingly painful and humiliating death on the cross as others jeered or indifferently scoffed. How could they not have wondered what could possibly be ahead? What meaning could they find in what occurred on Good Friday? Of course, no one was capable of imagining that Jesus would rise. In Russian, there's an expression, hope dies last. These now scattered followers of Jesus, their hope had died. It died on the cross, and there was no reason at all to imagine a way forward. Someone once said that only the Blessed Mother dared to cling on to hope during seemingly endless hours, watching the suffering and death not only of her Son, but of her Lord. She could not have comprehended what possibly lie ahead, but she grasped onto that hope, which allowed her, during her own indescribable agony, even to encourage others, to assure those who turned to her for some either word or sign of consolation, or to help them understand the possible meaning of the horror as it unfolded before their eyes, what this could possibly be. She could encourage them with words or in silence that this senseless episode might be everything else, but it is not the final word. All of the various readings concerning the passion, the death, and the resurrection of Christ are intended not only to record this event of events in human history and in salvation history. We don't forget it's not just a Christian sort of myth that didn't occur outside of a concrete historical place and time with concrete people. These readings, these testimonies are no less intended for us now, today, to encourage us in that hope which will not fail us if we hold on to it. That is, that we too will meet the risen Lord. Brothers and sisters, today's great feast confirms this hope. We will meet him, the risen Lord, as sure as we are here in this moment. That moment of moments will come when each of us will stand before the risen Lord. Throughout the course of human history, there are those periods when the faithful now confront, and will confront difficulties and challenges which seem senseless, in which it is especially difficult to fully comprehend what the consequences of these events around us could be, seemingly impossible to find meaning. Christ never promised anyone that it would be easy to be his follower, or that his disciples would somehow be exempt from the experiences confronting all of humanity, or that we would even always have clarity. The current situation of the world today seems really, among other things, to deny us clarity about what occurs next, what lies ahead. How will these events turn out? When might we return to a more normal rhythm and familiar schedule? During such times as this, it is possible, tempting to lose peace, to give in to fears and to doubt and let them grasp hold of us, unless we choose to hold on to that hope which gives meaning and perspective to virtually all that happens, good as well as bad. We remember that all passes into the resurrection of Christ and all yields to his promise, the promise that does not exempt us from the dynamic of life's challenges. That would deny us the dignity of being in our own time and generation as his follower, but rather that he will be with us until the end of time, that is, until he comes. St. Paul wrote to St. Timothy that God does not give us the spirit of timidity and fear, but a spirit of strength and love and self-control. This is our worthiness, our inheritance, one might even say the privilege of being the children of God as Christians who search for the risen Lord. It is helpful to repeat the conviction of Mary before the cross. We believe that this crisis in which the world finds itself now, and all crises, do not possess or have the power to provide the final word. How do we know this? Because only Christ has the final word. He is the word, salvation, life. And we participate in this life only because of his unimaginable kindness to us. We join with Mary Magdalene, with the other women who loved so much that they were willing to come to the tomb while it was early, still dark, as the Gospel reports. They came without the light of understanding, but only of love and longing. We join with Saints Peter and John and the other disciples when we admit that faith, true faith, is not defined by what we see, but ironically, by the opposite. Deep faith is defined by the choices we make to believe, and so is defined by that which we do not see or understand in the short term. May our continued search, holding on to the memory of Christ's promise, encourage us to believe, and believe be transferred ever more and more into his faithful, his true followers, that he might do as he intends and desires more than anything else, to lead us to life, true life, life in abundance, life everlasting. Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, allow me to express my really, really heartfelt greetings to you and your families on this Easter, this strikingly unique, hopefully, unique Easter. I can't wait for that day when we can meet in person to continue our celebration and that all that Easter means to us. I wish you and your families health, strength, and courage in your search, and in following the God of life to life. May God bless you and give you a peace which no one and nothing can take from you, today, tomorrow, and forever. Christ is risen. Christos voskres. Christos anesti.